Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really special. We're taking a fascinating journey straight into the timeless wisdom of Sri Krishna. Specifically, we're looking at how the ancient foundational teachings of the Bhagavad Gita are basically a universal remedy for the anxieties we all face today. We're going to explore the pursuit of true inner peace, the absolute power of our thoughts, and the inescapable philosophy of karma, all tailored for our very fast-paced modern lives.
But before we get into the weeds, let me ask you something right out of the gate. Are we actually truly alive, or are we literally just breathing? Really think about it. In our world today, it's just so easy to go on autopilot, right? We're trapped staring at our mobile screens, completely consumed by appearances and status. But deep down, a lot of us just feel entirely empty and overwhelmed.
And honestly, there's a quote that perfectly hits the nail on the head regarding this struggle. It goes, "Everyone says be happy, but no one tells you how." We are all constantly chasing this vague, blurry idea of happiness. But what is it really? Is it just slapping a temporary smile in your face? Or is it a deep, unshakable peace that comes from the inside, completely independent of whatever's going on around you? It's a struggle we all share, no matter where we are on the globe. Section 1, the illusion of happiness, and where to look. Because we live in a super chaotic external world, and according to the Gita, the root of our misery often comes directly from where we're placing our expectations. Think about it. We almost always default to external blame. The second things go wrong, or pointing fingers at our bad luck, our circumstances, or the people around us. We literally look everywhere except in the mirror. But Krishna's wisdom flips this entirely, pointing us toward an internal focus. The source material tells us that our own expectations are actually what cause us the most pain, especially when we pin those expectations on people who have a track record of disappointing us. The real fix here? Stop blaming the outside world and start examining your own thoughts. Section 2, love versus attachment and true connection. This internal focus brings us to a massive distinction in how we relate to others. Let's look at the difference between genuine connection and selfish bondage. There is this beautiful, high-contrast metaphor that makes this click instantly. Someone once asked, what's the difference between the divine's love and human love? Well, true love, or surrender, is like a bird flying completely freely in the infinite sky. Selfish attachment, on the other hand, that's a bird locked tightly in a cage. When our love is tangled up in selfishness and expectations, we're basically building a cage for the other person. But when it transforms into pure surrender, it becomes as boundless as the sky itself. So how do you actually measure the depth of a real relationship? It honestly comes down to having the courage to say, I'm sorry and thank you. True relationships survive where genuine feelings live, instead of your ego. If measuring your connection means you have to swallow your pride just to apologize or show gratitude, that is exactly how you know it's a genuine bond, built on mutual respect. Section 3, the power of thoughts, winning the daily battle. We're heading deeper inward now. The Gita frames mental clarity not as some lucky thing you just stumble upon, but as an active daily battle. Krishna breaks down a highly actionable daily routine for this. Clearing your mind isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a war you have to fight every single morning against fear, laziness, and negativity. So how do we win? By doing these 4 things. Wake up early. Sit in quiet reflection. Actually talk to yourself. Ask yourself why you feel so restless when you already have so much. And finally, observe nature. You can't just buy a peaceful mindset in a store. You have to build it through daily habits. Let's just pause on this next point for a second because it's huge. The day your thoughts change, your whole world changes. That is a seriously powerful maxim. Your mindset completely dictates your reality. Problems don't just show up uninvited. They come to teach you something. The only variable is how you think about it. One person looks at a problem and sees an opportunity, while another looks at an opportunity and only sees a problem. Your thoughts are literally your ultimate destiny. Section 4, the philosophy of karma. The inescapable echo. Let's see how all this builds into the core mechanics of the universe, where every single action creates an inevitable return. The foundational concept here is karma yoga. Simply defined, it means performing your work and your duties without being attached to the fruit or the final results of that work. The Gita stresses that doing your duty just because it's the right thing to do without being greedy for the payoff is the true path to spiritual freedom. You take action, absolutely, but you don't tie your ego or your happiness to the outcome. And this brilliantly illustrates the absolute certainty of karma. Let's look at the ancient story of Bhishma. Despite being this fierce warrior, born from the blessings of the sacred river Ganga, even he couldn't just wash away his karma with holy water. He had to face the music for his choices. If someone like that couldn't escape it, what kind of illusion are we living in, right? Sins are cleansed by our actions, by our deeds, not just by taking a quick dip in a river.
Because there are certain actions that always come back around. An arrow shot blindly returns as a curse. An unthinking promise turns into a massive burden. And deceit today, well, that is tomorrow's reckoning. The universe is keeping a flawless ledger. Whatever energy or lies we put out there will inevitably find their way back to us. The wheel of time spares no one.
Section 5. Finding true inner peace, free from expectations. This brings us to the crescendo of today's explainer. How do we actually ground ourselves and break out of this modern matrix? This is a perfect diagnosis of our society right now. In the modern era, we are living for status, wearing masks, piling up wealth, and showing off. We literally measure our human value by bank accounts and job titles. But look at the soul's truth. It's all about patience, silence, and authentic humanity. Showing off is basically the modern disease. But the real, truly invaluable currency is finding peace within yourself, no matter what the outside world thinks. Because look, when the time comes and the circumstances of life strip everything else away, you really only have two true companions left. Number 1, your karma, the actual deeds you've done and how you treated people. And number 2, the divine, the Paramatma. Wealth, status, fair weather friends, all of that gets left in the dust. Only your actions and your spiritual connections stay with you through the whole shebang. So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. Silence the noise. Look inward. You are a soul, not just a body. Just let that sink in for a second. The physical world around us is totally temporary, but the soul is eternal. When we finally stop obsessing over the temporary stuff and start feeding our eternal nature through good karma and clear thoughts, that's when we find that elusive happiness we were talking about at the very beginning. I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. When the time eventually comes, will you be remembered by your wealth, or will you be remembered by your karma? Are you just building a resume right now, or are you building a legacy of the soul? It's a massive question, and it demands some serious introspection. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep reflecting on your thoughts, keep refining your actions, and I'll catch you next time.